Hello Steampunkers, I'm Betsy Waterson from Little Rock Images, and today I'm going to show you how to take a pin that has a pin on the back, and we're going to make it into we're going to decorate around it with some bead embroidery, and you can wear it on a necklace. The materials you're going to need is some beading foundation. It comes in various brands and thicknesses. This is from Bead. It's quite a bit thicker than this glue that I've used for this project, but still it's quite stiff and it will work. You'll need some either bead embroidery needles or some beading needles. I like to use the longer beading needles because that's just what I'm used to. And you will need some seed beads. I've used size 11 for this project, so they're quite easy to see. Now usually we do this technique around something that's called a cabochon, and this is doesn't have a hole in it, so you just glue that to the back. But today we're doing it with pins. So I've already glued this one on, so I put a knot in this thread already. You will need some beading thread. I like this Hannah, it's from Bead FX, but you can use any beading thread. So we're just going to come through the back as close to the button as you can get, and then I'm going to pick up 3 beads. This is called back stitch, and there's different variations. People like to do this differently. I like to start out with 3 beads, and then we go back down through the fabric right beside the last bead that I added, and then we're going to go up through the material next to between the first and second bead, and then we're going to go through the beads again, and then you pick up 2. From now on you pick up 2. Put the beads down right to the fabric, keeping the beads as close to that button as you can. Through the last 3 beads. So you're staggering the way you secure them. Some people do 2 and 2, and some people do 3 and 3, but I kind of like to do the 2 and 3 because that way you're getting a little more secure foundation there. So pick up 2. Oops. Down close to the last one. And up through the last 3. So you just continue around like that. Until we get to the end of that row, and I'm going to transfer my needle and show you how to finish off that row. Get the needle threaded. Sometimes the hardest part of this is threading the needle. There we go. Okay. So if you can see up close, there's only space for probably, well, I'm going to try to put 2 beads in there just to close that gap. Sometimes if you have to put 1 instead of 2, that's okay. So we're just going to snug those beads up like we did before. Go down through the fabric again, up through the last 2, And then we're just going to go through a couple of beads just to secure. Okay, so that puts us in position to do our second row, which is what I've done in orange so that you can really see the contrast. And I kind of like the orange once I got it on there. Okay, now this row we've done in orange, and I put the thread on the wrong needle, on the wrong button. So I'm going to thread this again. Okay, so we're going to do what's called square stitch now. So we're going to pick up 2 beads, and we're going to go back through the last 2 green ones and through 2 more green ones. Okay, and then you're just going to continue like that. Pick up 2, go through the last 2 green ones. We're only going through green ones now. 2 green ones and then another 2. So that's going to give us a nice green or orange contrast. Through the last 2 green, and the next 2 green. Okay, so that's row 2. That's back stitch or square stitch. First, the green one was back stitch, and then we're going to do I did this row in peyote stitch, and that is pick up 1 and skip 1 and pick up 1, which takes us to how we're going to finish these. This one I did a kind of a little decorative picot on the ends, but this one we're going to just do a rolling edge. That's what I did on this. This is my COVID piece. I worked on it in March and April when the COVID was new and we didn't know what to do about it. So this is batik fabric glued to the beading foundation, and then I just added the beads on top, and this is the rolling edge. This is what we're going to do on this project for the finishing. So what we're going to do is gently cut around here, and you have to do this kind of in stages because you need a little bit of that edging to show to give you something to bead into. But you don't want to, you have to keep kind of checking your back so that you don't cut any of your stitches. So I may leave a little more than I would usually leave here, just so that you can see. And then I would glue this on, but I'm not going to glue it on today because the fumes are terrible and it wouldn't have time to dry, so we're going to pretend. So this is ultra suede. It comes in sheets like this. You can get it at Bead FX. I got a whole package the other day at Value Village for $2.99. It was thrilling. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of this and leave some to hang on to because it's not going to be glued down. We want to work with a comfortable amount of thread, and that's kind of different for everybody. Just you really don't want to have to add thread in the middle of this project. is not so good. There, okay. So holding the two pieces together, I don't know whether you can see that, it's sort of like a little sandwich. I'm going to add white beads here, which is not what I would finish it with, but just so that you can see it. So we're going to hide the thread under the two layers. We're going to come up as close as you can get to the beads. And we're going to, you kind of have to fool around with how many beads you need to add for this rolled edge. I'm going to try 4 for now. And you just work them down so that they sit right up against your beadwork at the front. And then you go through the back and on a little bit of an angle through the front again. And that's how your back will look, and that's how your front will look. So we pick up 4 beads again. And push them right down to the beadwork on the front. And through the back, catching not a lot of the fabric, but enough so that it's not going to slip through there. This ultra suede is it's nice and durable, but it is fairly soft and thin, so you don't want to end up with your project coming apart. So again, I'm going to pick up 4. Put it right down to your beads on the front. And through the back to the front again. And that's how your rolled edge is going to look. And you just keep continuing that around. Well, that's basically it. I just added, to turn this into a necklace, I just added a little string of beads, however large you want that to be. But you could use a commercially made bail that just glues to the back of that. Then you can put it on a necklace. And you could make these into little smaller buttons. These, I think, are a little smaller. You could make a string of them for a necklace, you could, or a bracelet. Smaller buttons you could make earrings with. So it's very versatile technique. There is a lot on online about bead embroidery, so if you have any questions or you want to do more, just go online. Oh, and I did want to give you a little shout out to Darlene at lakesidejewelry.net for this really neat bead tray. It has, if you're doing a lot with seed beads and you want to keep them organized, any of you that do beadwork, a lot of beadwork, you know, you get beads on your tray in little piles, and then somebody tips the tray or something and you have beads literally everywhere, and then you have to spend a bunch of your time picking up the beads and sorting them out. So this is, she sells these on Etsy, and it has the little cover, and you can find her at lakesidejewelry.net. I think that's it. Thank you.